Hi guys, I'm Reveena and welcome to my kitchen. So today I want to show you how to make vegan Spanakopita.
Oh my god, I love that!
Spanakopita is the best. My grandmother, God bless her, who I think is the most adorable, hilarious woman in the world, calls Spanakopita Spanakopita. So, no matter how you choose to pronounce it, this dish is basically layers of phyllo dough or phyllo dough, again, however you choose to pronounce it, which is this like crispy, flaky pastry, and don't worry about it because we're not making it ourselves. And then the filling is like spinach and different kinds of onions and lots of different herbs. You're gonna love it. Don't even worry, we'll get to the long part later. But to start off, I have here 2 large Spanish onions. I'm using Spanish onions because they're a little bit sweeter than normal onions, but you could just use normal onions if you prefer. And if your onions are like medium sized, use 3, not 2. Then I have 1/3 of a cup of olive oil. And to that, I'm gonna add a good pinch of salt. And what that's going to do is allow the onions to soften and break down and become even sweeter and lovelier. And I'm just gonna put this on the heat around medium-high heat for 10 minutes until they start to soften, and then I'm gonna add even more ingredients. The next thing that I added to my pan is 2 large bunches of scallions, which should be around 12 or 13. I just chopped them up, added them to my pan, added a little bit more salt and pepper, and then let that cook for around 15 minutes. At that point, what I actually did is lower the heat a little bit just so that the scallions wouldn't burn. Then I added a large head of garlic, which I finely chopped. The smell at this point that is permeating your kitchen is like unbelievable. Garlic is the greatest thing ever. I know that seems like a lot, but it's very typical in Greek cuisine, and you have to trust me on this one because it's still going to cook for a while longer, and it's going to get sweet and soft and mellow, and I'm salivating. It's delicious. So I've had that on the stove now for around 2 minutes, just to kind of let the garlic cook out a little bit. I'm going to very quickly grab my pan so I can add a bunch of stuff to it. So I have here 800 grams of frozen spinach. Now here's the deal on frozen spinach. Buy chopped frozen spinach, just do it, don't bother with fresh, it's fast, it's easy. And then you want to thaw it, which you can just do in the microwave or if you just leave it out overnight. And then you have to squeeze out the water. So once the water is squeezed out of your spinach, you end up with around 320 grams. But when you're buying it frozen, you want to make sure that you are in fact starting off with 800 grams of spinach. I swear it makes sense if you're looking at the package. Now I'm adding the zest of 1 lemon. I love lemon. It's fragrant and it's delicious. And most people just use the juice. But in fact, most of the flavor is found in the zest because that's where the lemon's essential oils lie. And then all I'm going to do is cut this in half and add the juice. Next, I'm adding half a teaspoon of red chili flakes just for a teeny bit of heat. And then I'm adding some nutmeg. You're not going to taste the nutmeg, but what it does is it adds almost like a warm smokiness, which sounds like a very pretentious description, but it's true and it's delicious, so do it. Now I have a whole bunch of herbs which I'm going to add freshness. 3/4 of a cup of chopped mint. Just pull it off the stalks, give it a cup. Chop? Don't give it a cup, give it a chop. Then 1.5 cups of chopped flat leaf parsley and 1 cup of dill. I know at this point you're like, Reveena, what are you doing? You're not making salad. And I'm not, don't worry. It'll cook down and it will be delicious. And the last thing which I'm going to add at this stage is 1 cup of chopped, de-pitted, obviously, Kalamata olives. And this is going to add the salty parts, which feta would normally add in a Spanakopita. I just called it Spanakopita. Oh my god, my life is over. The olives add the salty part in a Spanakopita, okay, which would normally be brought on by feta, but since this is a vegan Spanakopita, we're not adding feta. Got it. Okay, so at this point, you're going to want to let it cook for another 15 to 20 minutes. I know it's a lot of cooking time, but that's what's going to make this sweet and flavorful and mellow and salty and delicious. So just let it go. and then we'll finish it up and get this thing in the oven because we're getting close. So I'm on my last ingredient. I swear we're finally there. So I have oh no, there was water. There wasn't supposed to be water. In yours, there will be no water because you've learned from my mistakes. So this is a 15-ounce block of soft, look how soft it is, squish. No, that's gross, but it's actually an incredibly satisfying texture. And this is soft organic tofu. And all I'm doing is just crumbling it up a little bit. And this is going to act as the eggs would have done had you added eggs, had it not been a vegan Spanakopita. And yeah, so it's just going to help sort of make this creamy and smooth, and will bind all the ingredients together. And what I also like about it is that it kind of gives the look of feta cheese, so it looks more authentic. So if people don't know that it's vegan, they're less likely to guess that you've taken away one of their favorite ingredients, aka feta. So I'm just going to move this to the side, quickly wipe off my hands, and now it's time to work on putting this thing together. So it's time to get started on the phyllo dough. So this is a kitchen towel, and all I've done is just run it under a little bit of water and then squeezed it out, because you want it to be damp but not sopping wet. So here is my phyllo, and it's just a whole bunch of sheets of very, very thin pastry. And I've worked with it before, so if you guys are interested, I'll put the links at the end of the video and in the description box down below to check that out. But here you go. It's actually incredibly easy to work with, though you do need to show it a little bit of love and a little bit of care. So we're just gonna unwrap it. And it's always a little bit of a mystery because every brand sort of wraps theirs differently. But all you wanna do is lay it out. And if you're going to be sort of doing a few layers and then like going and doing something else, you're going to want to cover this with another damp towel. But if you're going to be making it all at once, then you're totally fine. So, easy peasy, super large baking dish, olive oil, between 1/2 cup and 2/3 of a cup. So I just put a lot in a little pitcher, and then, you know, use what you need, and what you don't need you can put back. So start off by liberally oiling this baking dish, and that will ensure that nothing sticks and that you can get it out easily once your Spanakopita is made. So, oh, it's sticking. That's okay. Take one layer and put it down. Don't worry if some of the edges overlap. Don't worry if it's not perfect. You will never know when it comes out of the oven. Give this a very rough brush of olive oil, and then put one more layer. And what you do want to do though is that if your pastry is going to overlap slightly on one side, the next time make it overlap on the other. And then what I actually like to do is take a sheet, fold it in half, and then sort of use that to cover the middle part. Just because, as you see, if you start making it, depending on the size of your baking dish, you'll notice that the sides will be more heavily covered with phyllo than the middle. So I just do that to even it out. And 2/3 of your phyllo dough, and then you put your mixture. And then on top of the mixture, you keep going with your phyllo dough until it's all used up. And then we just pop it into our oven, which is at 375 degrees, and let it bake for around 45 minutes until golden brown and crispy and delicious. And then we let it cool slightly and serve up. My Spanakopita is a work of art. It smells unbelievable. I'm so freaking excited to dive in. When you're someone who's cutting dairy out of your diet, and you take a dish which you've loved for years and years and years, and relies heavily on feta and on eggs in order to bring it together and give it this like gorgeous salty depth, and you're able to recreate that without the ingredient that you fear that you'll miss most, it's a really good feeling. I cannot wait to hear what you have to say about this in the comment section down below, or on my website, where you can also leave comments and find this recipe and all my recipes. Website is reveenaskitchen.com, because I'm Reveena. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys soon. And like this video if you liked this video. And also like this video if you say Spanakopita! Thanks for watching. Bye!